We've seen the Twisting Nether, we've seen Shadowlands, we've seen the Emerald Dream, the Nightmare, Thros, we've seen the Elemental Planes, and we've glimpsed the Timeways. One thing that has bothered me lately is trying to decrypt the untethered space of Karesh. During phase diving, we go there and enemies seem like arcane anomalies or aberrations by visual color coding and the nature of Kareshi experiments at Manaforge and Mega. The ethereals that became pure arcane were liable to fall into the untethered space at the time of the destruction of Karesh, and it is from here that Prince Saladar's forces look to forcefully bind their souls to wraps woven from Lumithar's silk, a creature of considerable arcane that has no mate or relatives anywhere that we can find. Souls of pure arcane seem to bypass being devoured by the void and bypass the machine of death, which is interesting in of itself if it weren't for a horrifying experience of the victims. Canonically, the untethered space is said to be, quote, another plane of existence layered upon the material plane, coterminous with our existence and nearly out of reach. A being of energy is at constant risk of falling through the cracks of the cosmos into this realm. To do so without prior preparation is to risk never returning. The energy falls out in the material realm, and most of it never returns. Scavengers, predators, and the Shadow Guard troll for the remains of creatures and relics from the past. If we were to leave them there, the vital energy of Karesh would be devoured by the void. But with our phase conduits, we can recover the energies and relics from this plane of existence and use it to power the ecodomes and prevent the void creatures growing beyond our control. End quote. So what I think based on the ethereal's assessment is that the untethered space is a place where energy can leak out of reality into this other astral plane of arcane energy, and that if Dimensius devoured Karesh in our reality, its phase version would also be destroyed. This is really interesting for what amounts to just a weekly quest time filler, and there's no expansion on it in lore after this brief explanation from the ethereals. Given the nature of it as a plane of arcane, where arcane entities seek to devour pure energy seeping from other planes, the gears in my head got to turn. Usually, when I think of a cosmic force of orders version of the Dream or Shadowlands, I think of the Timeways, which may still be true, assuming there is a broader domain of life behind the Dream or death behind the Shadowlands, which seems likely now. The Dream and Shadowlands may be expressions of those things bridging the gap between the primordial untethered powers of the respective cosmic forces, or may be shaped from them. But while I can't tell if this is the Arcane Lands or something bigger, it does remind me of some significant lore from Legion. This is the staff of the former guardian Aegwynn, named Aluneth. Aluneth is an intelligent talking item released to arcane mages in Legion, similar to other talking items like Xal'atath. The staff is named for the entity trapped inside. According to the staff's lore, Aluneth is a powerful entity of arcane energy hailing from an unnamed plane of existence. The Blue Dragonflight first discovered it while manipulating the fabric of reality to tap into an unnamed realm of existence. Later, a highborn sorcerer would learn of Aluneth and fail to enslave it, but learn how to draw on Aluneth's power to enhance their own spellcasting. After the War of the Ancients, he went into hiding to study it and develop magic. But then Aegwynn discovered his works and desired Aluneth's power for herself. She successfully summoned Aluneth and then bound it to her staff. The Arcane Mage Order Hall quest involves the staff bringing them into conflict with the Void Ethereals, serving the same Ethereum we fight on Karesh. Some quotes by Aluneth include, "There is energy here. You waste precious energy poking holes in reality. I must recuperate my energies. I will consume it. I never thought I'd have to slay a Titan. This grieves me, but we do what must be done. The mages of this city see Dalaran as the arcane focus of the world. How little they understand."
The mages of this city see it as the arcane focus of this world. How little they know, child. There is energy here. Yes, yes. I will consume it. My energy dwindles. You must pace yourself, child. You spend your energies frivolously. I must recuperate my energies. This city was built upon a matrix of mighty arcane energies. Ah, yes. Power enough for us both.
Aluneth has an obsession with energy and magic, beholds the Titans almost with kinship or wonder, and hints that there is more things of arcane significance to the world than Dalaran or the ley lines intersection at the Nightwell of Suramar. And he comes from a plane which can only be accessed through tearing at the fabric of reality with powerful arcane magics. I think it is therefore plausible, if not likely, that the untethered space we go to when phase diving is the plane of origin for Aluneth. And Aluneth seems to be a particularly powerful entity from this plane, nothing like what we encounter on Karesh. And speculation surrounding Aluneth is inconclusive because there is so little lore to understanding its origins or the full extent of its power. Some people think it could be the arcane equivalent of a wild god or a void lord, or something of that nature, but it's unclear. If I were to be creative and imaginative, I like the idea of Alunith being related to murmur in some way as a primordial essence of Arcane, rather than sound like murmur is. But that is just speculation with no evidence, besides the fact that the Echo of Aluneth has the same model as many elementals, like how murmur holds a wind elemental's model. And we learn of a unique term while on Karesh that is coined by the Ethereals. It is the murmuration paradox. It is curious that the quest chain to acquire and attune with Aluneth so heavily involves the Ethereum during Legion, who we encounter on Karesh messing around with the same things that are mentioned in Aluneth's lore, and that the Blue Dragons discovered it by warping reality with intense arcane magics. And Aluneth may be related to other primordial arcane energies such as Animus and Anomalous. I think this realm, referred to as untethered space, is probably the seldomly mentioned aether, the planar opposite of the twisting nether. For naming parity, I would call it the untethered aether. One quest given by Xal'atath on Karesh is even named Like a Knife Through the Aether. And one of the 11.2 renown tracks involves attuning to the aether. This buff in raid makes your mana oils and enchantments 50% more effective. To conclude, the theory is that the untethered space is the home plane of the arcane entity of Aluneth, and possibly that Aluneth and phase diving could be relevant later if Blizzard looks to expand on the realm, which to me it seems like they will, given that so much of Aluneth's quest is tied to the Ethereum, as well as that the origins of Aluneth refer to a plane that seems to be only reachable through very intense arcane magics. And we know that we can only phase dive after becoming an entity of pure arcane energy. Thanks for watching.